and welcome to this week's Spark Coronavirus Roundup. I went ahead and put on jeans this week just to prove I still could. Good sign. So since the start of this epidemic, one of the effects experts have warned us about is the shortage of medical supplies, sanitizers, ventilators, and PPE. But now the shortage of anesthetic medications is being felt in the veterinary community. As the number of hospitalized human patients with COVID-19 increases, so does the need for ketamine, midazolam, and other drugs critical to treating our own patients. Out of all the shortages affecting the medical community, Erin Forbes, a veterinarian in Vermont, says this is the one that keeps her up at night.
Hydromorphone is super important for pain control. And yeah, we can try things to get around it, but at the end of the day, nothing really is as good as hydro. Things like doing, like if I have an animal comes in that's seizing and I don't have midazolam to stop the seizure, that's bad. Like that's going to be a hard situation. And hopefully it doesn't come to that. Like hopefully, like I said, the drug manufacturers ramp what up. I don't know, I can make more drugs, but that is definitely a big concern because I don't want an animal to die because I don't have what I need.
Well, can drug manufacturers pick up production to fill the need? We posed this question to Mike Tercy. He's one of the owners of Stokes Compounding Pharmacy and its sister company, Epicure Pharma. Epicure is a 503B outsourcing facility, meaning it can produce and distribute medications in larger batches than typical compounding pharmacies, while using stringent manufacturing guidelines. Mike tells us that just last week, the FDA issued a guidance allowing outsourcing facilities like Epicure to produce a list of 15 drugs that are in severe drug shortage, including many of the anesthesia drugs important to our field. This has never been done before, and Mike says that it shows the government is serious about boosting supply to meet this higher demand.
Most of the drugs that we're talking about here are controlled drugs that are monitored by the DEA. And they do have quotas. The DEA puts out quotas to the manufacturers and to us as an outsourcing facility. That could become a bigger problem. But the DEA has, and they reached out to us already, asking for us to resubmit and request higher quotas. And I'm sure, I know they're doing this with manufacturers as well. That's going to make a big difference because most of the drug shortages, when it comes to a lot of the controlled drugs like the hydromorphone, it's due to these quotas that have been put in place by the federal government through the Department of the Drug Enforcement Agency. But I believe with seeing some of the things that have occurred over the last month, including all the things that the FDA has done with coming out with these tests, et cetera, that usually take months and years, they're turning around very quickly. I think they're going to turn around some of these quotas pretty quickly as well, so that facilities such as Epicure will be able to provide more of these medication because we have the ability to make it. We can obtain the active ingredient. Our limitations on some of these products are going to be through the DEA, but I think they're going to make changes to that.
So Mike is hopeful about the pharmaceutical industry stepping up production, but he cautions that veterinary teams should continue to be judicious with their use of medications. That's because the demand in human medicine will continue to challenge the availability in veterinary medicine. And also, supplementing with drugs from outsourcing facilities can get a lot pricier.
Unfortunately, the way our market works is that drugs get pushed to the human side before they get used on the vet side. This opens up an opportunity for us to provide to our veterinary community drugs like hydromorphone, methadone, fentanyl. I know one of the issues happens is that it becomes more costly. A manufacturer may be making millions of bottles of something where although we're making large batches, we're still making, 1,000, maybe 2,000 or 3,000, and we're still following the same GMP process. So a lot of our processes are costing the same amount. We're just doing it in a smaller quantity. So that hurts the veterinarians. And we understand that. We understand that comes down to the bottom line. We always recommend if you can get it commercially or if you have it, you use that up first. Even as an outsourcing facility, we should come second to the commercially available products, but always before a compounded product.
A big thank you to Mike for taking the time in the midst of all this to share some insights on the drug shortage. To learn more about Epicure and how an outsourcing facility can benefit a veterinary clinic, click on the link on your screen. For about 3,000 veterinary students, This is the time of year when they step into the next phase of their life as a veterinary professional. But this year it's going to be different than it has ever been. Dr. Andy Roark decided to recognize our new graduates in a unique and socially distanced way. He's organizing a College of Veterinary Medicine virtual graduation on Sunday, May 3rd at 5 p.m. Graduates and guests are asked to register by April 29th. You can click on the link on your screen to register. And Dr. Roark has joined us today to tell us more. Andy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's great. I'm so excited that you did this. Our graduates really deserve this. Describe exactly how it's going to work. How's online graduation?
Great. So here's what's going to happen. I went through and started thinking about how do graduations generally work, and what do we want to accomplish? So, this is going to be a mixture of some parting advice. I want to help vet students really close that chapter of their life. I want them to feel very welcome into our profession. I want parents and families to feel celebrated because I think graduation is huge for them. I remember my parents coming to graduation, the family being there, and my wife being there. She supported me through vet school. And so I just felt like that was so important for everybody. And so the way it's going to work is I've put together a number of commencement speakers, people that I have seen speak who are just wonderful. I've done a number of commencement speeches, and I always take them very, very seriously and work really, really hard on them. And so I thought, I could do this, but I want some help. And Dr. Betsy Charles, who's the executive director at the Veterinary Leadership Institute, Dr. Carolyn Henry, who's the dean at the University of Missouri's College of Veterinary Medicine. We have a couple of veterinary students. Dr. Sarah Boston, who's a surgical oncologist and stand-up comedian, is going to be delivering a commencement speech. And so, we want to keep it fairly short and to the point. We have a musical guest to sing songs about veterinary school, and we're going to end by recognizing the students who have registered as graduates, which is why we ask for them to register. We're going to be sharing the favorite photos from veterinary school of the graduates, and so that you'll be able to see that. And then we have, I think, the biggest virtual applause by veterinarians probably in the history of the world. So we have worked to get veterinarians from all over the world to give them a big hand. And so we've got that worked out as well. And so it's going to be really fun.
That's a great idea. I just love this. Graduation was so special when we did it in person. And it's so disappointing to think that they couldn't have that moment. So this is a great alternative. So tell me, what made you go, yeah, this is the way to do this? What was the inspiration?
It was the anxiety that I saw in some of the senior students, and so I'm blessed to get to work with a lot of students and have them come through our hospitals as externs, and with some of the other things that I do when I go to some of the vet schools, and so I see these students who I care about, who I want to be successful, and they have a lot of anxiety. They have a lot of anxiety about going into the profession during a global pandemic, and what does that mean, and what is going to happen to the economy? Am I going to have a job? Am I going to get a job? And then I think they also have a lot of anxiety about not being able to finish their clinical rotations. Traditionally, they're doing them virtually, and I think that there's a lot of worry about being ready to be a doctor, and I think that there's a lot of sadness about this weird transition. There you are, and you're in vet school, and then you get a message over the weekend that says, "Don't come back. We're going to do this virtually." And I really feel like a lot of them are looking for a sense of closure. And that just really stuck with me. And how would it feel to just have your vet school experience end suddenly, and then the next thing you know, you're by yourself in a practice hoping that everything's going to be okay? And so I thought this was something that we as a profession can do from afar. We can encourage them. We can reassure them they're going to be okay. We can remind them that what they've accomplished is really important and they should take a moment to be proud of it. And then we can welcome them with open arms and mentor them and bring them in to be successful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I know that in my career, one of my fallbacks and one of my support systems has actually been staying connected to my veterinary school class. So I certainly hope that new graduates can kind of take advantage of that too, and remember all of the great experiences that they've had and all of the great friendships that they've made through vet school, because some of those have been permanent for me. How about you?
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah. The connections that we have, our friends, every every veterinarian has their friend group and their support group, and that's just so important. Veterinary medicine it's so easy to feel like you're alone and feel isolated, that you're making these decisions in a vacuum, and no one should have to feel that way. Everyone should remember that they have friends, they have people who care about them. Even if they're a solo practitioner, you're important, and people care about you, and you should be connected and feel connected. And so I feel like anything we can do to foster those relationships, I think that's good for our patients, it's good for us, it's good for our mental health. It's just generally good for everybody.
Yeah, what a great message to the grads of 2020. I mean, you're coming with us, you're joining us, and we're so happy to have you. We're here for you. We want to do this with you, and we're so excited for you to be with us and join us in this unique way. It's great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for saying so. We're really excited. We've got graduates from every vet school in America, every vet school in Canada, most of the United Kingdom. Some of the Australian schools are going to be there as well. So it's gotten pretty big.
Who's gotten to have an international graduation? Who has? I mean, in a way,
Yeah.
isn't this going to be... It's going to be so unique for them. I mean, maybe it's something we'll do in the future a little bit to celebrate each class because, and I know you know this, but veterinary medicine is really a small international community. And, I have so many friends that are not from the U.S. and they're part of my support system and your support system too. What a better way to say, hey, look, remember that there's a lot of you, but there's actually not. And we're a really tight-knit community. So now we get to celebrate together. How cool.
It feels great to celebrate, just to celebrate everything. And what I've heard that I didn't anticipate was a lot of the students have said, wow, this feels like we're all in this together. And that's something that we needed to feel. And so that meant a lot to me. Most of the vet schools will do their own ceremonies, and they'll take the oath together and they'll officially move their tassels. And that's how it should be. Absolutely. But, having a global celebration just seems like a lot of fun. I'm wondering if this will be one of those things that starts because of the pandemic and then just keeps going because we go, you know what? That was a lot of fun.
I hope we can do this every year. I want every vet school class to know that when they get out of school, like, we're so excited for them. Like, we really, really are very excited. I'm always thinking, I love working with new grads too, and I know you do too, just because the energy that they bring, it kind of reinvigorates all of us. And I think it's really important to tell them, like, you as a new grad have so much to offer all of us. It's just a great feeling. I love this time of year.
Thanks for saying so.
It's my favorite time of year in some ways. Absolutely. So remember, new grads, we have one more thing to offer you. We at NAVC always offer a discount on Vmx registration. And Andy, I know you can tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful offer from NAVC. It's their gift to professionals coming into our profession. NAVC has a wonderful conference in Orlando, Florida. It is the biggest vet conference in the world. There's so much energy there. I've been there since I was a second year vet student, and the fact that they have a low discount price for new graduates is something wonderful that honestly, I think it fits in the spirit of welcoming new graduates into our profession. So I love the fact that NAVC does that.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope to see you all there in January. It's for the discounted price of $375 compared to a regular veterinary rate of $625. And that gets you full conference registration, including 5 days of CE and all our entertainment. Andy, thank you so much for joining us today. I couldn't echo your excitement anymore. I am so excited for May 3rd now for us.
Well, thanks. I'll see you there. It's 5 o'clock Eastern time. The whole world is going to watch together. So it'll be a lot of fun.
I cannot echo Dr. Roark's feelings anymore. I want to take a moment to share both my congratulations and my pride in the veterinary school class of 2020. Trust me, you guys got this. In a letter I published on today's veterinary practice, I offered 5 pieces of advice and encouragement to today's newest veterinarians. So click on the link on your screen to read my love letter to your class. In our favorite segment of the week, and to remind you to stay positive, We wanted to take a look at the incredible creativity you and your clients are showing when it comes to making homemade masks. Here's an example from Dr. Ariel Ostringer, who's finally found a way to make those ill-fitting bras useful again. And Dr. Cheryl Good has a super crafty client with the best taste in fabric prints. We know there are more of you out there with masks to show off. Post your pictures in the comments on our social media pages or email them to us directly at spark@navc.com. Thanks for watching this week, guys. Stay safe. Here's hoping your jeans still fit. Bye.